This is a deep dive podcast covering articles published on Ecogate's blog, brought to you by Ecogate, the leader in on-demand dust collection.
Dust collection, it runs all day. Burning lights from a cash away. Dust collection, you got to close the gate. Why is the air so low and the cost so great? No more! Turn your airflow into cash flow. Saving thousands, literally thousands. Ecogate, you watch savings grow. Yeah!
Welcome back, everyone. Ready for a deep dive into something pretty interesting. Today we're talking precision airflow control and, more specifically, dust collection.
Dust collection?
Yeah, sounds kind of basic, right? But trust me, it's way more interesting than it sounds. We're really zeroing in on Ecogate's precision airflow gates and why everyone's talking about them. And just so you know, this isn't some kind of ad. We just think the tech is fascinating, and we want to unpack why it's such a big deal. Okay, so picture a traditional blast gate, pretty much an on-off switch for airflow, right? Easy peasy. But what about when you need, like, a dimmer switch? So help me out here. Why is this level of control so important in some industries? What makes precision airflow gates such a game changer?
You're totally right. Precision is key in a lot of industries. Think about something like chemical processing, for example. Even a tiny change in airflow could cause huge problems. And it's not just chemicals either. Imagine food packaging. You don't want a gust of air blowing those delicate chips all over the place. Or how about pharmaceuticals? Dust control is crucial, but you gotta make sure those tiny pills aren't getting blown around either. Ecogate's precision airflow gates are unique because they offer this really granular control over dust collection, something you don't see with other systems.
It's amazing how they've designed these things. The article mentioned each Ecogate smart gate is a combo of a gate body and a gate motor. Plus, they've got different types of gates, like rotating blade and butterfly styles, each for different jobs. It's like a tailor-made airflow solution. And then there's the really cool part, the motors. They have smart motors, standard motors, and these new precision motors. I'm dying to know more about those precision motors. What makes them so special?
It all boils down to fine-tuning. These industries need more than just on or off. They need a level of control that regular blast gates just can't provide. And this is where Ecogate's precision airflow gates really shine, especially with these new precision motors.
Yeah, these precision motors are really something else.
Yeah.
The article was talking about how they can make these teeny tiny adjustments, like we're talking 0.2 degree increments.
Wow, 0.2 degrees. That's like incredibly precise.
It's wide.
It's like having a volume knob, but for airflow.
Exactly.
So that must be essential for what they were talking about in the article, transport air velocities.
Right.
I gotta be honest, not totally sure what that means, though.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Could you break that down for me? Why is this so crucial?
Sure. So transport air velocity is basically the speed the air is moving through a system, carrying all that dust.
Okay.
It's kind of like, think about a river, right? Carrying sediment.
Okay, yeah.
Too slow,
Yeah.
and it all settles, causes blockages.
Makes sense.
Too fast, and you get erosion.
Right, right. Precision airflow is all about finding that sweet spot. The perfect flow rate, like Goldilocks.
That perfect balance.
Exactly.
And the article even mentioned that, like, getting that velocity wrong could be disastrous in some cases.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I imagine.
Like going back to pharmaceuticals, really.
Yeah.
If that air velocity's too high, you risk damaging those pills.
Oh, right.
Too low and you're not pulling away the dust properly. It's a real balancing act.
So it seems like Ecogate's precision airflow gates are really essential in keeping that balance in check.
Exactly. They're really good at maintaining that consistent airflow, even when machines are switching on and off, which can really mess with things.
Right, because that would change the airflow.
Exactly. Yeah.
And speaking of maintaining balance, they mentioned in the article bleed gates as kind of a more, I guess, traditional solution.
Right.
Can you explain what those are and how they compare?
Yeah. So bleed gates, they're basically extra gates.
Yeah.
They regulate airflow, but they can be a pain to install, and they're often just not as efficient.
I see.
And what's interesting about Ecogate's precision airflow gates is that they can actually act like adjustable bleed gates. So by, fine-tuning the airflow, they kind of eliminate the need for those separate bleed gates, which can actually save companies a lot of money in the long run.
Right. So not only are we talking about, like, precision and control, but also potential cost savings.
Exactly.
That's a pretty compelling combo.
For sure.
But it's not just about the mechanics, right?
Right.
The article mentioned these gates also have some pretty impressive smart capabilities, too.
Yeah, those are cool. It's not just some simple gate, right? They've got sensors. And it even mentions something called Modbus communication capabilities. Sounds way more high-tech than your average hunk of metal.
Right, it's not just the mechanics, it's how smart they are. Those sensors, they can keep track of the pressure, the airflow, all in real time and feed it back to a central system.
Whoa, so it's like a self-adjusting system. Yeah, like imagine a factory that's actually smart. The airflow just changes depending on what's going on.
Oh, wow.
You need a really delicate touch for like pharmaceutical powders, no problem. System adapts. Then you're dealing with something heavier, like in a car battery factory, it ramps right up, no problem.
Wow, the future is now. The article didn't really get into this, but what do you think this means for people working in these places, all this automation?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's true. More automation can make people worry about their jobs for sure. But we got to remember, this tech creates new jobs too.
Oh, that's a good point.
It might not be the same exact jobs, right? But you got to learn the new systems, how to fix them, make them run smoothly.
Yeah, it's more like adapting with the tech, not being replaced by it.
Exactly.
This has been amazing. I mean, it's clear. Precision airflow gates, they're not just about keeping the dust down. They're changing how these industries work. Every detail matters, right?
Yeah.
Mechanics and smarts, all in one package.
Yes.
And it makes you wonder, right? If it's this big for factories, this level of control, this precision, could we see it everywhere someday?
Yeah, who knows?
Like, what about growing food indoors?
Yes.
That's all about getting the environment just right.
Right.
Or even like in our homes, our own ventilation systems. Imagine your house just knows and it adjusts the airflow, keeps you comfy, the air clean. That's kind of a trip, right?
Yeah, that would be something.
This is why we love doing these deep dives. Some things you just don't realize how complex and how cool they are until you really get into it. So thanks for exploring this with us. Until next time.